I'm Keren Orendain, and I'll be talking about a scene from Memento.
How can you read that again?
It's good.
Yeah, but you've read it like 1,000 times.
I enjoy it.
I always thought the pleasure of a book was in wanting to know what happens next.
Don't be a prick. I'm not reading it to annoy you. I enjoy it. Just let me read, please.
Probably tried this before. Probably burned truckloads of your stuff. Can't remember to forget you.
So this scene is at the middle of the film, right after, or I guess before Leonard tattoos Fact 5, access to drugs on his leg. The first shot used in this sequence is a medium close-up shot which shows Leonard sitting alone at night with just the fire lighting up his face. You can barely see his environment, but we'll get to that later. In this same shot, we see Leonard take an old worn-down book and smell it. We then get a quick shot of that same book being read by someone. This quick cut helps portray Leonard's mind and how faint his memories are. He must look deep in his mind to remember his past. It then once again cuts back to the book, but then it's revealed to be his wife who is reading while Leonard looks at her. This tells us that his memory of her is slowly coming back. In this next shot, we see Leonard putting the book in the fire. Then the next shot after that is a close-up of the book being placed in the fire. We then get a flashback of the two of them talking about that very book. If you pay close attention, you could hear the music fade and the sound of a clock ticking. When Leonard remembers this part of his past, we can infer that because there's no music, there's no real emotion. This isn't a true memory. It's fake. It's all made up, and so there's no need for music to enhance or make the scene more impactful or emotional. As for the clock ticking, I think that it's just a nod to the play in time, something that plays a big role in this film and is what Christopher Nolan is known for. In this next shot, the music fades back in, and we now get a close-up shot of the book, its pages withering away as it is engulfed in the fire. The book and its ties to his wife disappear just as quickly as Leonard's memory does. By daytime, the book will be as if it never existed. We then get our first close-up shot of Leonard as he stares at the fire, thinking of his past life. As he sits there in the dark, the only thing that lights up his face is the fire. To continue this path of life, a life that gives him purpose, he must look to the fire. It's a form of destruction and permanent deletion of his past and any sort of connection he has with his wife. In this moment, the fire is the only source of life and hope for Leonard. This next shot is just of a clock. We can assume it also has some sort of connection to his wife, so of course Leonard is going to burn it. And the shot after that is again a close-up shot of Leonard saying that he can't remember to forget you. This plays a big part in the plot of the film and everything that Leonard does. Toward the end of the scene, we get a cross dissolve from night to day. This tells us that Leonard was so engrossed in this action of burning his wife's things and trying to forget her that he spent the entire night there. We now get a better shot of his environment. We can see that Leonard seems to be where buildings used to be. The concrete structures are the only thing that remains of what used to be buildings. These concrete remains are cold, hard, and seemingly indestructible. These remains are a representation of Leonard's current life, his life of crime, destruction, and ruthlessness. Now, we can also see that there are plants growing. These plants are trying so hard to grow their way in between these concrete remains. These plants represent fragments of Leonard's past life, which are seeping their way into his current life. A life that is just like the concrete remains, cold, empty, and just remains of what once was. This scene connects with the entire story because as we learn at the end of the film, this is all planned by Leonard. This is where the line, "can't remember to forget you," comes into play. Because Leonard knows that he will immediately forget what he does, it makes sense that he would try to destroy whatever connections/memories he has of her, because by doing so, he is benefiting his investigation to seek revenge for her death. By knowing so little, he can have just enough to want to continue to fight for her, because deep down, he knows that he killed his wife, but he tries to cover it up by conditioning himself to forget as much as he can. That's why he uses the story of Sammy to cope with his trauma. By doing all of this, he can then have a purpose in life, by being able to avenge his wife. Thanks for watching.